Guys, Toronto finally opened that light rail they've been talking about forever. I'm on my way there to check it out. Yeah, so it turns out Toronto is actually working on 2 different light rail lines to augment their rail transit network. The one you've probably heard about is Line 5, which started construction in 2011 and is still not open. But in 2019, they started construction on another light rail, the Line 6 Finch West, and that one actually opened before its predecessor on December 7th of this year. Line 6 runs 10.3 kilometers or 6.4 miles from Finch West Station on Line 1 to Humber College, with most trackage in the median of Finch Avenue. People have had a lot to say about it since it opened, and not all of the buzz is good. The chief complaint? This thing is really slow. Like, slower than the bus it replaced. Slower even than a man who famously outran it. So what's holding the line back? And is the backlash justified? The only way to find out is to go for a ride.
La seule façon à savoir, c'est par embarquer à bord.
And we begin here at Humber College Station on the west end of Line 6. Here is the head house for the new station. You've got the TTC sign. There's another head house over there. As you can see, there's a couple of buses rounding the bend. Trains here are nicely grade separated in an open trench. What's funny is there's some footprints in the snow right next to the window here, so I'm assuming some foamers have been here. So we are in a little bit of a hurry. I will explain why. It's really embarrassing. Let's head on into the head house and see what we can see. You've got your Presto card machines over here. You've got a couple of information displays over here, and then the usual fare gates. There's both elevator and stairs down to the trains. As we descend to the island platform, we're met with one of the line's 18 Alstom light rail vehicles. These articulated trains are 48 meters long, or 157 feet, longer than any light rail vehicles currently operating in the US. Trains have 4 sections with a total of 120 seats and standing capacity for 216 people, as well as fully low floors with gentle rises and dips to accommodate trucks and the like. Now it is worth noting that on this particular train, as far as I can tell, there's only one main priority seating area. This covers sort of every disability. We got the wheelchairs, we've got the elderly, people who are using walkers and canes, rather than having separate areas like on the Dark Silver line that we saw a couple months ago. It's also worth noting that there is no designated area for strollers or shopping carts, despite this being a corridor with lots of residences and retail. Notably, if you only speak French, by the time you're told to get away from the doors, they're already closing on you.
Please stand clear of the doors. Veuillez vous tenir à l'écart des portes.
These trains also come with a foamer window, which we stare out of as we crawl north and slope quickly upward, then curve through a tunnel, picking up power from a solid overhead rail, before emerging into the median of Finch Avenue. For the first couple of stations, we cruise along pretty smoothly through West Toronto, down a street corridor much wider and more car-centric than anything the streetcar system serves closer to downtown. So here is what one of the street level stations looks like. You got your departure boards and your maps and your benches and your little shelters from the elements with no heating and Presto card machine. Notably, unlike the streetcar, you tap off board on line 6 and then we come down here across the street to go to Timmy's. On our way to that most Canadian of institutions, Tim Hortons, we see a westbound train arrive at Albion Station. It pulls up to the intersection and stops. The light for the cars turning left across the tracks turns green, and private vehicles start pulling forward. But the train waits a whole 21 seconds before its signal changes and it crosses. Only to stop again at the westbound platform. I grab some grub at Timmy's, then walk back to the station, passing a very confused woman wondering where her bus is. Another passerby explains it's been replaced by the train. I decided this trip to break from my normal pattern of getting Timbits every time I come to Canada, instead got a full-size sour cream donut, so let's try it out. It's different. I like it. Okay, so I'm not really sure what is going on. The departure screen says 6 minutes till the next train. My app says 2 minutes and then 12 minutes. I don't know who to believe. There was sort of a vague announcement on the scrolling text about regular service has resumed between Finch West and like partway down the line. Does that mean this part is still not resuming regular service? Was I on one of the last trains before some kind of delay happened? The communication here, granted, I mean, transit is a very fluid thing with lots and lots of ups and downs and unexpected moments, and you can't communicate perfectly. So I'll give the TTC some grace on that, but I truly don't know when my next train is. And it's a little frustrating. There's a lot of other people on the platform who look as confused as I feel. Yeah, it turns out there was an operational issue on the line that held things up for about 20 minutes right around when I filmed this, the third operational hiccup of the day. Again, I'll give the TTC grace on this. Line 6 is a new line, trying to fit into a busy street corridor. Back on board Line 6 Finch West, we continue east past the Albion Mall and approach Islington Avenue. The train announces the next station, but then we stop at the light right before it, for over a minute. Granted, we don't get stuck at every single light, and we're able to hit some greens, even passing some cars backed up on the road next to us. We're literally following another vehicle. I can't show you because someone else took the seat in the front, but I can literally see the back cab of the train in front of us. It's not too far away, like 2 blocks away. I'm timing our stop at Oakdale Road. As you can see, a bunch of the cars are advancing, but we still have a red transit signal because cars need to turn left. This wait ends up being another 28 seconds. Line 6 Finch West was identified as a corridor for rapid transit back in 2007, and after many back and forths and false starts, including longer proposals all the way to Finch Station on the eastern bit of Line 1, construction began in earnest in 2019, and now the line is open for passengers. If it isn't obvious to you by now, a big reason why we've been moving so slowly is because the signals at major intersections are not wired to regularly provide priority to trains, and as soon as the line opened this month, that issue was thrust into the spotlight, as consumers and reporters found the journey slower than the buses that used to run on the corridor, and sometimes markedly slower than scheduled. Thankfully, since this is such a giant glaring issue, the TTC and the city have both started work to address it, with Mayor Olivia Chow introducing a motion to tweak traffic signals to give priority to trains and speed up the line. This was approved by City Council nearly unanimously on Tuesday, with Mayor Chow hoping to see faster speeds on Line 6 by winter's end. Obviously, if it flew over Finch like the Addis Ababa light rail, or ran under it like the Market Street subway in San Francisco, that would be really cool. But plenty of light rails around Canada and the US have made street running or street-adjacent trackage work without too much hassle. Take, for example, another line called Ion in the nearby regional municipality of Waterloo, the smallest metro area to have its own light rail in North America, which I filmed earlier in the day. Ion is a lot like Line 6, with similar shelters, long flexible trains not made by Siemens, and a street-adjacent right-of-way, such as here in downtown Kitchener. A local contact of mine described this line as having aggressive signal priority, preempted only by emergency vehicles, and the couple of times we encountered signals when I rode this, we blew right through them. Ion is a beloved institution, with millions of annual riders on a single line roughly twice as long as Line 6. If any powers that be are thinking about opposing Mayor Chow's resolution to make the Finch West line better, they might want to come ride this thing first, and see what good signal priority can do. And before you ask, no, Ion is not getting its own video. Right when I got to Kitchener from Pearson Airport, Calcadon called me, and I realized I had taken both her and my apartment keys with me to Canada. Caleb didn't do his key search. So I rode Ion for one stop, shot everything you just saw, and hightailed it back to the GO bus station for a ride back to Toronto. Hence, you've now seen all my Ion footage. Join my Patreon if you'd like to see me go back there next year. Point is, Line 6 needs work, but this is well known, and new transit openings are frequently buggy. What happens next is the real test of how well the TTC, Metrolinx, and the City of Toronto are prepared to build a transit-oriented future. As for me, I'm getting off at the underground platforms of Finch West and heading down the corridor to Line 1, heading for Billy Bishop Airport, and an incredibly tight connection to deliver some keys to my wife. But that's a story for another video.
quick and